Hey, what's up, you guys? You're watching Team APS. And first, before I get into the discussion, I would like to do a couple of updates. So, a lot of stuff has happened basically in the last couple of weeks. Basically, I am back in school again, which means that the good news about that means that I'm back with Trell, I'm back with the twins, Alex and Alex. So, you'll see them all in a lot more videos. You guys saw the 4-person video we did the other day. I hope you guys really liked that. We'll try to do more of those. I've got stuff planned. Skits, I always have skits planned. They don't always work. Tag duels, stuff like that. Some more live stream ideas. I don't know. Some of you guys aren't really like tuned into my live streams, but we live stream on Twitch, and I have some cool like plans to enhance that and make it a little bit better. So more details about that kind of when it's relevant, but I just thought I'd let you guys know that's all happening. Also, just started a Let's Play of Yu-Gi-Oh! Legacy of the Duelist for PlayStation 4. Episode 1 went up yesterday, and Episode 2 will probably go up tonight. So watch that if you're interested. It's a new Yu-Gi-Oh! Video game, and Alec, and I are playing with commentary. It's going to be really fun and all that. Finally, I'm giving away this month 2 Megatins. They're not out yet, but by the time this giveaway ends, they'll be out. The 2015 Megatins that come out on September 18th. 2 lucky winners will get to pick the Megatin that they want to win. And yeah, that's the giveaway for this month. Information about that will be in the description. That's where you can enter using Gleam. It's a software that lets you basically enter giveaways, and you get more entries if you like my Facebook page, follow me on Twitter, things like that. So it's really cool. And last but not least, the reason why I just haven't been uploading videos that much in general. Well, I've uploaded a lot, but the reason why I haven't been like doing direct videos like this, and the reason it's kind of been just weird videos sometimes, is just because I've been busy. I've had to move back into school, get adjusted to classes. Things are still really crazy, but I'm hoping I can kind of reach a nice equilibrium where I've got time to make videos like this and go to the locals here and get deck profiles and duels and meet up with Trell and record videos with the twins and things like that. And just bear with me with all of that. I know sometimes the videos can be a bit like not necessarily what you want to see. And I know with like the Let's Play, not everybody likes that kind of thing, but just don't hate on it. Just kind of, if you don't want to watch it, you don't have to watch it. But if you do want to watch it, and I encourage you to, then, you know, that's cool too. I think that's all that I have to say for now. So, on to the discussion, which is, I guess we'll say ethics or sportsmanship in Yu-Gi-Oh! And that's an interesting topic that was suggested to me by one of the fans. Basically, in Yu-Gi-Oh! It feels like you would think that ethics and, you know, sportsmanship and all that would just be kind of a given. Like, of course, you know, you're playing a friendly, like, hobby but competitive game, so of course you're going to be respectful to your opponent and not cheat and things like that. But the truth is that the Yu-Gi-Oh! Community is not quite that nice. In fact, it can be rather toxic at times. Bit of a buzzword, I know, but it is true. Some of the major kind of points of toxicity that I notice in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is mainly, first and foremost, people who cheat. I mean, obviously that happens. There are lots of different types of cheating. I mean, you know, you can just cheat simply by withholding information from your opponent that they should know. Like, there are loads of examples of this. You guys kind of know what I'm talking about. Stacking, sharking, those are good ones. You know, just kind of like accidentally forgetting stuff. And sometimes it is intentional, other times it's accidental. So I don't always consider cheating necessarily to be somebody's fault. But I think that some of the more toxic things I hear in Yu-Gi-Oh! Actually kind of occur out of game. Like, there's a lot of salt. Obviously, you know, we all know you can like mine salt in a Yu-Gi-Oh! Locals, but a lot of people don't like to credit opponents for wins. A lot of people are not really big on, just turn on this computer screen. A lot of people are not really big on really just complimenting players in general. I feel like one of the biggest things I notice in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is that there's so much sort of refusal to acknowledge that somebody else maybe beat you or that somebody else had a good idea. Whenever people have a creative or a different idea that they want to maybe tech in a deck, the response is always like, oh, that's stupid, that's dumb, that's bad. Bad's an annoying word, it gets used a lot. Yeah, but that's kind of a thing with Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a lot of people just simply don't like to admit that they're wrong, and don't like to admit that anybody else thought of something good or new or something that could work. And people aren't supportive of each other. And I know it kind of sounds like a little sob campaign, but the truth is that, we are all playing Yu-Gi-Oh! And I do feel like people should be a little bit more respectful of others' opinions. It's really annoying when, like you're asking somebody for help with a deck and like you say like, okay, I'm running like 2 copies of this. And they're like, no, you're stupid, you have to run 3. Or like, the only way you can do it is if you tech 1, 2's bad. And like, they don't really like consider everything. And so that gets really annoying. Another place where I noticed kind of a lot of disrespect and just bad sportsmanship. I don't know if you call it sportsmanship, but whatever, is trading. A lot of people, we all know about like douchey traders, like people who just, overvalue their stuff, undervalue yours. And they exist, that's how it goes. But I think that there's something to be said of people who are really disrespectful about it. Like people who kind of insult you for maybe not knowing the values of cards or think that, you are making like a stupid trade or, that kind of stuff. Like it just feels like disrespect in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is like really prevalent in all these different areas where people just don't like to give anybody else sort of the time of day in terms of like manners and stuff. And that gets really annoying and I see it so much. And, I don't know. I actually find myself personally thinking that a lot of times when I watch kind of higher level matches, like at locals maybe, but in like the finals or something, people seem to get so much less like friendly to each other. Like I know when you're in a higher stakes match, it's important to like watch your opponent and kind of like make sure they're not cheating, make sure you keep track of the whole game state, make sure you ask for responses and declare phases, things like that. But sometimes I just get the feeling that there's a point where people tend to just sometimes get to the point where they're just rude to their opponent, when they're asking for responses or asking for phases or asking for like to see their grave or the cards in hand. But they always kind of respond more in like a snarky way or disrespectful way. And I'm just not really a big fan of that. I would point to examples if I could, but you guys probably experience these type of things at your locals or at least see them a lot. So I don't really think it needs to be said. And sort of the ending note, I guess, of this discussion is that I don't like bad sportsmanship and, like kind of toxic attitudes in Yu-Gi-Oh! They're really bad. They need to go away. I don't play other card games, so I don't know necessarily if like the Magic or the Pokemon community is better or worse. I know like Force of Will, that's like a new game. There are lots of card games. I mean, all card games have this problem. They're always going to be like douchebags. They exist, people who are just going to be kind of rude, going to be kind of, snarky. But I think sometimes it feels like it's worse in Yu-Gi-Oh! There's just always so much salt. People never want to really admit that anyone else is right or could have a good idea or legitimately beat them. And there's always like people who are just overvaluing stuff or saying someone else's ideas are bad or saying someone else is stupid. It just gets really annoying. So my question to you guys is, what are your thoughts on the sort of toxic sometimes attitudes that Yu-Gi-Oh players have? Are you one of the people who sometimes acts that way? Do you feel like, because you're all playing the same hobby that you should be respectful and nice? Or do you think, when it comes to playing Yu-Gi-Oh, it's just business as usual? Because I understand that that's a perspective. I know there are people who just kind of like sit down, play the person, and then get up and go, and they aren't necessarily friendly about it, but they also aren't like disrespectful. So it kind of balances out. I don't really know. And also, what is your most sort of negative experience that you've seen or experienced in Yu-Gi-Oh? That might be kind of the question of the day here. What's just one time where somebody just did something that you either saw or they did like to you, sort of an interaction in a game or a trade or whatever, that was just really, really just douchey and just kind of just in bad tastes, because there's a lot of BM in this game and a lot of salt. So I'd like to hear your stories. Might be interesting. And remember, in the comment section, treat it like a forum. Like if you see someone else posting something or asking something, you can respond. Like, have some discussion in those comments. It's cool. That's the video for today. I hope you guys liked it. Gonna try to get around, like I said, to doing more stuff like this and a lot more fun things with Trell and the twins. I know you guys have been looking forward to seeing them. So I'm going to try to keep it like, exciting and do cool ideas and stuff like that. If you have suggestions, of course, you can always leave them. And as always, you can follow me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Twitch because we live stream. Enter that giveaway. Sorry again for kind of the craziness of the channel, but I'm trying to get everything back on track. And one last thing I didn't mention at the beginning is that I'm going to be at one regional qualifier in Shreveport, Louisiana on September the 13th. So if you're in the area and you're going to be at that, I will be there, and Trell and Twins, we should all be there tentatively. And also YCS Dallas on October the 2nd, 3rd, 4th. I think we're going to be there. So yeah, if you're going to be at any of those events, let us know. You can meet us. We'll sign stuff, take pictures, duel people, shake hands. I don't know. So yeah, that's the video. Hope you guys liked it. Remember to leave comments with your worst, crazy, nasty Yu-Gi-Oh experiences, and subscribe for more Yu-Gi-Oh videos. And this is Paul from Team APS signing out. I'll talk to you guys later.